Now, look at this. I played this clip at the start of my program tonight, but have a look at this. Just this morning, Anthony Albanese stood alongside Joe Biden and Rishi Sunak to talk about AUKUS and the 8 nuclear-powered submarines. It wasn't even the afternoon before the unions have come out to say they strongly disagree. Have a look.
And out of nowhere comes this idea that they plonk a nuclear parking lot. Not a shipbuilding base, but a parking lot here and sticking a massive nuclear target on our backs. Naturally, the people in Port Kembla are worried. They're worried not just about their current jobs, but they're worried about their kids, that they're only a kilometre or two away. Within a 10-mile radius, which is the International Atomic Energy Standard in terms of containment of these things, any accidents, any balls up, anything that sees radioactive material escape, or worse, is going to affect a major city. And that, as the chief of the port said, there is no room for defence here. There's no room for a submarine base, and we're not here for a target on our backs. Port Kembla deserves better than this. Port Kembla deserves better than this.
Please.
Paul?
Well, firstly, there's a state election coming up.
Yes.
You may have noticed that there wasn't a lot of emphasis put on that by Labor Party people today, because that part of New South Wales, very strong Labor. It does have a history way back when, in the past 30 years of going green once. So a couple of weeks out from an election, if you want to have a whole bunch of people react like that. But I think this sort of reaction, where are the examples of these submarine accidents? Where are the examples of the Lucas Heights reactor exploding or setting out ooze?
And Biden made that point of saying this is safe technology.
It's rubbish. What I would love is for us to be able to get a double adapter hanging out of some of these things so we can turn them into power sources for the regions as well.
Well, that's the other question, right? You had Biden and Sunak and Albanese all emphasising how safe this technology is. But if it's so safe for submarines, well, why isn't it being used for we've got a looming energy crisis, particularly in New South Wales.
Because feelings and because politics. It's really simple. It's feelings and politics. And I was listening to something today, I can't remember where it was, somewhere on the wireless, but, talking about we are exporting gas. I mean, the irony of us exporting
uranium everywhere.
The fuel that other countries are keeping their power prices down with, we're merrily sending offshore while we're facing, what was it, last week they announced another 20%, 30% rise in power prices.
Yep.
Like, it is literally the definition of insanity in this country.
I've got to say, I fully support the arrangement for all the obvious national defence reasons. But wasn't it slightly funny that this old leftie from the 80s and 90s, who, not a massive fan of nuclear anything, is standing on a warship pretending to be, Captain Nuclear now.
Yeah. But you know what? It was also an amazing moment for Albanese. I totally get your point, and I've read the speeches, I've reported on them that he gave on Israel and America and all of that over the years. But to think this was a kid from Housing Commission, one of the worst starts you could have in life, and there he is standing next to the President of the United States. It was an incredible moment. Well,
dare I invoke the great man from a few years ago, but the pinch yourself moment to be in an Oval Office at all as an Australian, let alone an Australian leader, it is an incredible thing. Australians are always a bit overwhelmed by it. To see us on that even footing. The bit of research I'll do between now and the show, though, is I'm going to go and have a look at how the American media covered it, whether it was the lead story, the second, the 51st, the 20, the under the... how they looked at it.
I just spoke to Annalise Nelson a moment ago, and she's, of course, the Sky News reporter covering this in San Diego, and she said, of course, AUKUS for us was a big deal, but there, it's the banking crisis, it's Silicon Valley Bank that's top of the agenda.